animation. I look at their sketchbooks, and they are miles ahead of where I was when I was at college.
Yeah.
I look at their stuff. I normally do a character design assignment at the end of every second semester, and I save stuff to Pinterest that I will want them to use as inspiration. And when I look in their sketchbooks, I am seeing the level of stuff that I would see on Pinterest, the level of artwork, the level of sketches that I would see on Pinterest. And you were mentioning something about animation and a video on TikTok that you saw.
Yeah, it was just a TikTok that was covering having a career in animation, and the person was addressing uncertainties that a potential animator might have in having a career in animation. And the individual in the TikTok said that animation is currently in a boom right now, where the industry is probably more stable than it ever has been before. You know, like with the same recent movie Encanto, there was a whole department for just animating the hair.
Wow.
Yeah, literally a whole department just animating
just for hair animation,
right? And you know, and then there's the video game industry where 3D animation and 2D animation are the bee's knees.
You just said the bee's knees.
Yeah, I know, but
it's a 60-year-old one.
What is building up here? Yeah. Actually, yeah, what is building?
Condos.
Oh,
stay on topic.
Right. So, yeah. So, you know, it's like for those people looking to go into animation or the animation industry, it's like you don't have to be afraid of, you know, what am I gonna eat? Am I gonna have money and stuff like that? Is that, you know, you can legitimately turn your passion into a profitable career. I think our animation directors can earn up to $70,000 to $80,000.
This is U.S.
This is U.S.
But can they earn that here in Barbados and in the Caribbean? Because you know, we still have a lot of people who they're in the Caribbean, and sometimes they would think that we just had an intern work with us. She wants to get into animation and illustration, and her track is go to Canada, study, stay there, because locally the industry doesn't seem to be very conducive to people in that field. Like, animation still seems to be a pipe dream for a lot of people here. Illustration still seems to be something that's not you know, mainstream here. And while it's mainstream in the US, it's mainstream in Canada. Definitely has been mainstream in Asia for
a good while,
forever. But what would you say to the young Caribbean animator, the young Bajan illustrator that wants to get into the industry? Do they have a home in Barbados?
Well, I think they can stay in Barbados. Doesn't mean that they have to work necessarily strictly in Barbados. I think you could take the Line Animation Studio, for example. I'm pretty sure they're Caribbean based, but
he's actually based in the UK. But he's originally from St. Lucia,
right,
parentage.
Okay.
But he's based in the UK.
Oh, he's based in the UK. Okay, right. Well, I got that mixed up, but you can be in the Caribbean, but you don't necessarily have to work in the Caribbean, like exclusively in the Caribbean. Like, you can get clients from overseas and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that. I don't think, but in terms of animation from Barbadian clients, I don't know if the industry, in terms of animation commercials and stuff like that, I don't think Barbados is acclimated to that yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it could be within the coming years. You know, the industry is ripe for development.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's nothing to say in 2, 3, maybe 5 years, that people start to look more towards animation for different projects. Like,
because right now they're looking toward motion graphics. Motion graphics with like people moving in motion graphics is definitely a big plus. Because right now the animation illustration industry is suffering a tremendous amount of brain drain. In Barbados, especially, where young creatives who want to be in that space, they don't see themselves as being able to be viable in their skill sets being viable in Barbados and in the Caribbean. So what would you say would be beneficial for them, like going and studying and coming back, or staying overseas and maybe servicing the Caribbean market potentially from there? What could they do? Because I think or what can we do as an industry to help facilitate? That's interesting on camera. What's going on? What can we? Where this video is PG.
It's too hot
It's
here,
G
so-
actually because this PG right now is a completely different demographic.
Yeah, true.
But what can you say they can do to be able to facilitate, to be able to stay at home? What can we do as an industry to help them to stay at home?
That is, I think the Hollywood answer would be to
Hollywood answer.
Yeah, the Hollywood answer would be to do an animated movie, or to develop the film industry and the entertainment industry in terms of animation, because that's where I think people mostly look to when people think of animation, and especially on the bigger scale, that's what people look to. And I think in terms of NIFCA and in terms of NCF, developing the developing the entertainment industry with Caribbean stories and Caribbean point of view, and selling those things, like selling that to the wider market. I think that will be one step in the right direction.
I think it's a case where we have to value those Caribbean stories. Like as I've stopped driving so I can look at him now. But as Caribbean people, we have to value those stories first, before we can sell and promote those stories to Caribbean people, because we are so used to stories being told to us of other cultures. We're so used to being stories told to us from other places that we may not necessarily see the value in our own. So,
which is true.
And in developing an animation takes a lot of time, right? Like it's not something that you can just pop out in a week or two. This is months, years of development that goes into something like that. So should they invest their time in telling Caribbean stories for a Caribbean audience, and then for it to fall flat? Or could they target like a diaspora, like a Caribbean diaspora in the UK and Canada and the US, that would then maybe be more receptive to hearing Caribbean stories, especially maybe second and third generation Caribbean people in the diaspora who may be looking to reconnect with their countries at home?
Okay, I think if what we can do, or what we can look to do, is start to develop a lot smaller projects, because not every animation studio does like these big movies and stuff like that. They usually work on like small sections at a time, and I think what, like, if to go back to, I think what you were saying originally about how people should feel, like how prospecting animators should feel about if they should stay in the Caribbean or not. I think try to get as much smaller projects under your belt as possible, right? While you're developing the skills and while you're developing the expertise in the industry, start to look to see if you could do your own projects and stuff like that, right? Because it's like we're in what I consider this a content drought, where stuff from Hollywood and stuff from America and stuff like that has been overplayed, right? They've done the vampires, they've done the werewolves, they've done the big Transformers, they've done it all,
and then they've redone the stuff that they did back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s,
right? But the one thing that hasn't been done is Caribbean stories, Caribbean folklore, Caribbean experiences, right? It's an untapped market.
Oh, they're coming for us now.
Yeah. Right?
You just let the cat with the bag.
It's an untapped market, right? It is a chance for new stories to be told, and new perspectives to be shared. And I think so. I could be wrong, right? But I genuinely think within the next 10 years we're gonna see a rise of Caribbean focused entertainment, Caribbean focused shows.
It's only a matter of time,
It's
because
literally a matter of time.
with like Rihanna bursting onto the world stage, we have Caribbean products, Caribbean foods bursting onto the world stage. But we had the Food, Wine and Rum Festival many years ago that became the Food and Rum Festival that put a heavy focus. We had top chefs like Marcus Samuelson, Jeffrey Zakarian, a whole bunch of people coming here to experience Caribbean food culture. And so it's only a matter of time till it gets there. But I think whatever happens, I think we need to position ourselves as a people to be the gatekeepers of those stories. Be the gatekeepers of our own stories, where if there's a focus, find a way that we are the ones who are telling these stories, or we're the ones who are controlling how these stories being told. Because if not, then we don't benefit from the stories being told. Someone takes our stories, tells them, they make money, and we get the little bit. out of it. Okay, cool. All right.